Have you ever wondered which boss is the strongest or hardest to defeat in Super Mario Galaxy 2? Well, today I will be answering that exact question. So, without any further ado, I present to you the top 10 hardest Super Mario Galaxy 2 bosses. Number 10, Dig-a-Leg. Dig-a-Leg is a quite small robot. Yes, he's much bigger than Mario, but compared to Mega-Leg from Super Mario Galaxy 1, he's puny. But anyways, enough insulting this little guy because despite his lack in size, he actually brings a fair amount of difficulty and challenge to this fight. Dig-a-Leg has two main attacks, rapid jumping and sending out minions because he's lazy. These attacks may not seem like much, but when you're on a tiny planet with some weird gravity mechanics, this can be a real challenge. The whole gimmick of this fight is using the spin drill to break open this glass to retrieve the superstar, which for some reason makes the whole robot explode, which I mean, a little weird, Nintendo, but there are definitely way weirder bosses on this list, so I'll let it slide this time, Nintendo. Overall, Dig-a-Leg is a very different and quite enjoyable boss fight, with a good amount of difficulty is going to land Dig-a-Leg the 10th spot on this list. Number 9, Sorbeti. Now, when I say this boss is easy but difficult, do you know what I mean? Well, in case you're confused, what I'm trying to say is that Sorbeti is a spiky snowball that only has one weakness, his big red nose. I know, so scary. Spin attacking his nose is actually quite challenging due to the weird and unpredictable terrain. Plus, timing is always something that I feel everyone has struggled with or struggles with, but on different levels. As a kid, this boss fight was actually super difficult. I'd always be so worried about losing health that I would always back down from attacking and continuously just run away for the whole fight, causing this fight to last for ages. But nowadays, this boss isn't so bad. Hold up, before we get into number 8, I'm here to say, please subscribe. It's free and complements my hard work that I put into each and every video. If you're already subbed, welcome to the Cube Kingdom. If you're not, and you sub right now, also welcome to the Cube Kingdom. Anyways, back to the video. Number 8, Gobblegut. Gobblegut isn't your typical dragon. He's more of an eel, but actually, whatever. Gobblegut is a dragon eel sort of creature that's apparently going through puberty because he has tons of pimples. Disgusting. Mario, being the gentleman he is, decides to pop every single one to kill Gobblegut. First of all, that popping pimples is extremely painful, so what the frick, Mario? Like, dude, come on now. And also, Mario, mind your business, boy. Anyways, poor Gobblegut can't even defend himself because he doesn't have any real attacks per se. Yes, he can deal damage by running into Mario, but other than this tiny planet that never runs out of ground for Gobblegut to eat, which, whatever, I guess that makes sense. The reason I put Gobblegut on this list is mainly because attacking him is harder than dodging his attacks by a landslide, which is a first for me in any Nintendo game. Number 7, Glam Dozer. Okay, remember back when I was talking about Dig-a-Leg and I said there are even weirder bosses out there? This is what I meant. And get this isn't even the weirdest one on the list. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video and comment down below which boss you think is the weirdest. Okay, now let's actually talk about Glam Dozer is what I like to call her, but whatever. Glam Dozer. Am I saying that right? No one cares. Wow, okay. Not only does Glam Dozer look weird, she or he, I don't actually know. I'm not going to Google it though, because that's really weird. It's a really weird name, so I'm just, you know what, moving on. You find Glam Dozer in the Flipsville Galaxy doing the first star. In Glam Dozer's fight, you have to flip the switches underneath Glam Dozer to attack her stomach. This is how you deal damage. She takes quite a bit of hits, and in her final stage, she does start shooting these fireballs that will cover the flip switch panels, allowing Mario not to use them anymore. So, lining up hits in the final stage, you have to be very quick and precise with your choice, or else you will be taking damage. Thankfully, there is a Luma before the fight that allows you to get 3 extra lives, to have 6 lives going into the fight, or 6 health points, or whatever you want to call them. Overall, this fight definitely increases the difficulty from number 10, 9, and 8 up a huge level. From now and up, the bosses are going to get way harder. Number 6, Bowser. Alright. Before we get started with this number 6, you probably are wondering how a Bowser fight is below the top 5. Well, let me explain. In Super Mario Galaxy 2, you fight Bowser a total of 3 times, and in each fight, he is minorly upgraded. So, I decided to take all 3 Bowser fights and make them worth 1 because they're basically the same thing every time, except for that final scene in the end game where you throw meteors at Bowser as you're falling down a black hole. And yeah, that might sound intense and cool, but it's actually really lame, and you can't even die during that phase, so that isn't much anyway. Anyways, so the question is, why did I place Bowser so badly? Well, there are many reasons. One of the reasons being is that Bowser's attacks aren't very effective. Like his raining meteor attack, it may sound strong and deadly, but the meteors are actually super easy to dodge, and the same goes for the electrical lines that come with it. His fire attack isn't as easy to dodge, but because of the iframes you get when Mario takes damage, you will probably only lose 1 health point during this attack, making it still very weak. So with those 2 attacks covered, there's only 1 attack left, his punch. Now, I know this attack is only here so that the meteors will rise and Mario can use them to hurt Bowser and attack him, but it is garbage because no one in the world will ever get hit by this attack. Okay, ignore that TV glitch thing, weird, skip that part. Alright, well, maybe we'll cut this. Anyways, this attack really weighed Bowser down, causing him to place 6th on this list. Sorry, big guy. Sorry, I am here to pause you again, but before we get into the top 5, I would like to mention some honorable mentions. Starting with PP Piranha. Yes, I said that right. Next, we're moving on to King Drywall. And of course, the best of the best, Mr. I'm not really gonna fight you, but still be considered a boss by the creators anyways. Well, I hope you enjoyed those honorable mentions, sponsored by Cube King. Subscribe to him. Anyways, I'll stop self-promoting myself now. Number 5, Squizzard. So, now we have a lizard-like creature named Squizzard. So, remember when I said way back on Glam Dozer and on Dig-a-Leg that she wasn't even the weirdest boss yet? I'd say Squizzard takes the top of the cake for the weirdest boss in Super Mario Galaxy 2. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, which boss you think looks the weirdest in Super Mario Galaxy 2. But, anyways, I would say Squizzard. Anyways, Squizzard is a boss located in World 5 in the Slip Sand Galaxy. He lives in a sand beacon, or upside down triangle 3D shape sort of thing. And when you get on the planet, you will see him. He will pop out of the sand and say hello. Anyways, he is a hard boss fight, because with the sand pulling Mario towards Squizzard in this dish cone-shaped boss arena, Squizzard is basically attacking you the whole fight, because if you stand and don't move, the sand will pull you towards Squizzard, and you will run into him, losing a health point. Well, that's not all Nintendo throws at you. He will, speaking of throw, Squizzard will throw spike balls at you, and in his final stage, he'll also be given 2 frigging cannons. The cannons will shoot spike balls, and Squizzard will end up throwing frigging bombs. And these bombs are bigger than Squizzard's head. I don't know why they made this boss so OP. And on top of that, you have to use a Fire Flower, which is notorious for being very hard to control in the Super Mario Galaxy franchise, so that is another added variable to the difficulty of the fight. Oh, anyways, overall, this is a very challenging and strategic fight that you'll probably need to burn a few lives on in order to succeed. Boy, that is a hard fight. Number 4, Prince Picante. So, now we have a controversial pick being Prince Picante at number 4, just falling short of the top 3. Now, there are various reasons on why he didn't make the top 3, so before you get angry, let me explain. So one of the reasons our prince here didn't make the top 3 was because, of course, like most bosses, he lacked attacks. He only mainly uses the cannon attack and chases you. He mainly can also use the coconut and fireballs rain from the sky, but that's also very easy to dodge due to the fact they fall quite slowly and the fireballs are very small. Plus, the arena is huge and there's ice, so you can skate and move quite fast. Another reason you went with the fight taking place on ice, it is harder to control Mario, making it more difficult to dodge, but there's stupid fences. This ruins the fight. If there wasn't fences, you have the possibility of skating too fast to avoid Prince Picante and fireballs and then possibly falling off the stage. But with the addition of the stupid fences, this whole added difficulty part of falling into the void or a black hole or something, falling off the stage basically, is removed. A difficulty boost of 50% or so is taken out of the equation. This is the main reason why Prince Picante will place 4th on this list. It is unfortunate his downfall mainly isn't even himself, it's the stage. It's really annoying for me. Bummer. Alright, we're entering the top 3, so the bosses are going to be entering a whole new level of difficulty. We're going from regular Mario bosses to some actual challenges for all ages. Let's start with number 3, Mega Hammer. Mega Hammer is a Bowser Jr. robot, as usual, who has 3 weak spots that could not be more obvious. 2 on his chest and 1 on his back. To attack these weak spots, you need to use Yoshi to eat bullet bills to then launch back at Mega Hammer. Mega Hammer can be really hard because he is constantly hammering the ground and shooting bullet bills. If you're quick enough, Mega Hammer is a breeze until his final stage. As usual, the final stages are very hard, and this one is one of the hardest final stages in a boss fight in Super Mario Galaxy history. Take that in for a second. You have to dodge bullet bills, avoid the hammers, also the electric lines that come with the hammers, focus on your timing your shot with the bullet bill, and not falling off the stage. It can be a very intense and high-paced fight, keeping you on your toes the whole time, especially in the final stage. Overall, Mega Hammer's final stage is definitely what pushed him ahead of Prince Picante, earning him the 3rd spot for himself. Number 2, the Boomsday Machine. This boss is what you definitely would call intense. I know I was talking about how intense Mega Hammer is, especially in his final stage, but this boss takes the word intense and doubles it. It is probably the most intense boss out there in the Super Mario Galaxy franchise, and probably top 5 most intense bosses in Nintendo history. Bowser Jr.'s Boomsday Machine is without a doubt the most crazy, high-paced, intense boss fight on this list. In the first stage, the Boomsday Machine isn't mobile, but is still quite tall. Then in the second stage, the Boomsday Machine gets another attack, being this thing where all the clouds are pulled in and sucked in by the machine and evaporated, but that's nothing compared to the final stage. Because in this last stage fight of the Boomsday Machine fight, it really pours the pressure on Mario, gaining insane height, becoming mobile, and increasing the speeds in which he uses the cloud evaporating attack. This takes the fight to a whole new level of difficulty and craziness, which is what makes this fight so difficult, memorable, and fun. Now, I said the cloud evaporating attack is now used more in the final stage, which mainly is the most challenging element in the fight. Not only now do you have to use your 3 clouds strategically, but you also have to make quick decisions due to the attack's increased usage. Basically, if you thought that the final stage of this fight was going to be as easy as the first 2, you were sadly mistaken, and you're going to now die. Okay, I bet you all thoughts either the Boomsday Machine or Mega Hammer would take the cake on this list. But there is one boss that I feel has been hiding under the radar for long enough and now gets his turn to be in the spotlight.
His name is John C.
Fiery Gobble Gut. Fiery Gobblegut is the number one hardest boss on this list, and for many reasons. One, he's on fire, meaning if you miss your spin attack, you're going to be taking damage. Two, when Gobblegut tunnels through the planet, he leaves a pool of lava where he tunneled, so you're going to be taking damage. And Fiery Gobblegut is one of the most overpowered attack sets in all of the Super Mario Galaxy bosses in both games. He combines all of the hard things that come with some of these bosses, having a small planet to battle on, having crazy attacks, tons of health, having an intense fight that could potentially throw the player off their game. All these variables come together, creating Fiery Gobblegut, the toughest, strongest, and hardest boss to beat in Super Mario Galaxy 2. Goodbye.